This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. We begin with some great news today. We're learning more about the upcoming demolition of an elementary school on St. Croix. Demolition will begin on August 22nd, next Monday, of the Evelyn M. Williams Elementary School. It will be the new site, eventually, of the Arthur A. Richards pre-K through 8 school. Here's a design rendering of what the new school may look like. This is the first school in the territory to be rebuilt as part of the new school modernization project. The demolition early next week is the first phase of the project. The next step is finalizing the design, then construction will start, according to the Department of Education. Wednesday, the VI Commissioner of Education expressed her excitement and said this has been a long time coming.
I am happy, I am elated to be here to kick off the demolition of our first rebuild in the territory. We have taken a long time to get here, but I want to assure the community that this is just the beginning of many more activities such as this for VIDE. There is no secret to the community that our facilities are aged, and we need to do extensive repairs and replacements in some cases. And so for us to be here today really speaks volume of the work and the commitment of the Virgin Islands Department of Education. So VI community, get ready for the great things that are coming forward, because we want to make sure as we work to improve the teaching and learning within our classrooms that we're bringing environments where our teachers can really do their jobs more effectively, and it's comfortable and conducive to learning. And so this is a priority for me. This is a priority for the administration, and we will continue our efforts to push forward to make sure that it's a reality.
It has not been an easy task, but we are at this point with funding to be able to reconstruct our schools to a level that can be resilient in terms of the physical structure as well as what will be taught inside of those structures for the children of the Virgin Islands.
And this is the first time in 27 years a new school will be rebuilt on St. Croix. Demolition is costing $3 million, with the entire construction cost at $159 million. Demolition is set to take 4 months, with construction being completed in 2 years. There is still more than $13 million in grant funding available for local nonprofits to rebuild from the 2017 hurricanes, but it's money that can't be spent because they have to pay up front to fix the damages before they get the grant money. But now a new program is going to help change that. The Virgin Islands Office of Disaster Recovery announced a new initiative to help nonprofits use FEMA disaster recovery funding, giving them access to funding for stalled recovery projects. The Public Assistance Advanced Funding Program will allow charitable organizations that already received FEMA funding to apply for advances to begin their disaster recovery projects. Several nonprofits that were approved of the funding have been having trouble getting their projects started because they don't have the funds to pay up front for the projects. So the VI Office of Disaster Recovery started this assistance program to provide the funding up front and get this money spent to fix damages from Hurricanes Irma and Maria. The Office of Disaster Recovery held a virtual training session on Wednesday to explain how to request an advance of public assistance funds for those awarded projects. If you missed it, you can call the office for more information. Big news on the communication front. Liberty USVI will bring optic fiber to all USVI homes and businesses. Company leaders making the announcement in St. Thomas on Tuesday. The ultra-fast fiber optic internet will be available on all islands. During the event, Liberty also announced a new campaign highlighting the benefits of combining home and mobile internet services with Liberty USVI. The build-out of the fiber optic broadband is set to be completed by 2026, and this comes as Liberty continues to expand its 5G network in the USVI, which has already happened in 60% of VI cell sites and should be completed by the end of this year in order to get good service, better service to Virgin Islanders through Liberty. Here's something interesting for families to chew on. With soaring inflation, the gap between grocery store items and restaurant food is the widest it has been in half a century, meaning in some cases, dining out might be cheaper than eating in. Sam Brock breaks it all down.
Straight to the Double Whopper Junior.
From fast food restaurants like Burger King,
The BK $5 Your Way meal.
to value-based chains like Applebee's. Advertising a dozen shrimp for $1 with a steak entree, the emphasis on cost saving for families racked by inflation is evident.
Everything's really expensive. Even eating out is expensive though too.
And certainly the cost of everything is up. It's just a question of relativity. Federal numbers show grocery store prices shot up more than 13% year over year in July, while restaurant prices jumped a more digestible 7.6%, the biggest inflationary gap between the two in roughly 50 years. Businesses like Sergio's restaurant in Miami are seeing an uptick in visitors who are capitalizing in creative ways.
We're seeing a lot of people still do takeout and portioning food. Someone can cut a chicken that maybe costs you $16, and you come out eating 2 people for $8. You can't do that in the grocery stores.
Owner Carlos Gazatua says grocery stores, unlike restaurants, have dynamic pricing that can change daily.
Did you envision a circumstance under which you would be marketing your restaurant as a better value proposition than a supermarket?
We would have never seen this several years ago. The only negative thing is that the marketplace will dictate and the consumer is savvy enough to know it.
Certainly value depends on what kind of food you're talking about. Fast food companies traditionally catering to those with less financial flexibility continue to offer the lowest pricing. And even in the supermarket, economists say the inner shelf items, non-perishables, present palatable deals. But meats, seafood, dairy, and fruits have exploded in cost.
For consumers who are interested in the high quality food, eating fresh foods, those consumers are seeing more pronounced inflation.
Which might explain a pivot to more dining out.
If you're somebody who just cooks on the fly and really aren't so into cooking in the kitchen, then definitely eating out is way cheaper.
Even if it might be a relatively better deal than eating at home.
Meantime, the Inflation Reduction Act has become the Inflation Reduction Law. President Biden signed the $750 billion bill, a scaled-back version of his Build Back Better proposal. Billed as the nation's biggest ever single climate investment, it directs nearly $400 billion in climate and energy programs, including tax credits and incentives, to cut emissions by 40% over the next 8 years. The measure also includes a cap for out-of-pocket prescription drug costs for Medicare recipients, as well as a new corporate minimum tax. The White House is also moving past the acute emergency phase of the COVID-19 pandemic planning. The Biden administration says it will stop buying vaccines, treatments, and tests as early as this fall. Instead, those products will be commercialized and part of the regular healthcare system. The White House COVID-19 response coordinator doctor says it's a complicated transition. Right now, the government is working through regulatory issues, market dynamic issues, and equity issues. But officials expect that all to be cleared up by next year, adding that the government will continue to invest in pandemic preparedness and the next generation of vaccines. He is a popular actor best known for his role as Spider-Man. Tom Holland has millions of social media followers too, but this week he announced he stepped away from Instagram and Twitter for his mental health. Here's more on the benefits of a social media break.
I have taken a break from social media for my mental health.
In a video posted on Instagram, actor Tom Holland says social media has been detrimental to his mental state, so he's stepping back.
I find Instagram and Twitter to be overstimulating, to be overwhelming. I get caught up and I spiral when I read things about me online.
Holland has more than 67 million followers on Instagram and more than 7 million on Twitter, but he hasn't posted often on either recently.
Human beings are social creatures by nature, but just like all things, there is too much of a good thing.
Spending too much time on social media can take away from your ability to live life. Instead, you're just getting a running commentary on it, says Ariana Gallagher, Associate Director of Ohio State's Star Trauma Recovery Center.
Just being able to say, I'm struggling, and be able to find out that you're not alone in that, it is very powerful.
Gallagher says for some people, being on social media isn't a good idea in general. It doesn't bring them the connection or joy they're seeking. For others, stepping back and re-engaging in an intentional way may work better. She hopes others will follow Holland's lead.
And to everyone out there, thanks for your love and support. I love you all, and I'll speak to you soon.
Holland's candid video prompted praise from fans and fellow celebrities, including singer Justin Bieber.